Assalamu Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hello everyone. Today, I want to share about this topic. What are students' attempts that indicate ineffective or decrease in their engagement in learning? Part 2. Right now, we're already in part 2 on the process of academic failure. For those of you who haven't watched my previous video, please watch this video so that you can have a general view on the overall process of academic failure. Alright, so for part 2, we are continuing from student reactions to their mid-of-year assessments results, and you can refer to this video, right? So from students' reactions, it actually leads to 3 different types of attempts. Okay, so for attempts indicating increase in engagement, there are already 2 videos. So you can watch part 1 and part 2. Right? And we can see that all these 3 attempts eventually lead to academic failure. And for today's video, we're going to focus on the attempts indicating ineffective or decrease in engagement. When we talk about attempts indicating ineffective or decrease in engagement, it actually leads to 2. First one is lack of engagement in learning before, during, and after teaching and learning sessions. Ineffective learning methods. And the second one is inhibiting behaviors or attitudes toward learning. Both of these eventually leads to the consequences of ineffective or decrease in engagement. And for lack of engagement in learning, there is already a video for you to watch, alright? Part 1 on students' attempts that indicate ineffective or decrease in the engagement in learning. Let's talk about number 2, inhibiting behaviors or attitudes toward learning. There are a few examples we are being done that we observe among year 1 struggling medical students. So the first one is these students are lazy to study, laziness, and procrastination is also prominent among them. We also see that these students are not disciplined, were not disciplined in managing their own time. And they also expecting spoon-fed teachings. There could be a lot of reasons behind it. And they also did not follow through with the planned changes. For example, after they failed their mid-of-year assessments, they have several of things to do or they have several plans. But then there's poor execution and they did not go through with the changes that they have already planned down. And finally, some of the students actually focus on other assessments. Now, number 3, consequences of ineffective or decrease in engagement. Right, the first one, some students who actually gave up on anatomy, okay, one of the subjects in medical school. So what happens is that this is the consequences, alright? So what happened before that is, first, these students focus on other assessments and he or she did not study for the anatomy because this student focused on other assessments more than the anatomy. Second consequences, some students did not understand what has been memorized. So we realized that these students are focused on memorization, so that's why they did not understand what they have been memorizing. Some students also did not concentrate during lectures, while some of the students are observed to be studying everything generally. So these are the first two consequences. Continuing, we also found other consequences of ineffective or decreasing engagement. The first one is this student did not have enough time to revise all contents, and they did not understand what has been learned, and they are unable to link what has been learned. And we found that these students actually did not prepare before lectures. They did not concentrate during lectures. They slept during lectures. They did not revise after lectures. They heavily relied on lecture notes. They expecting spoon-fed teachings. They focus on memorization. Laziness, lazy to study. They simply read lecture notes without comprehending them. Procrastination, they procrastinated to study. They were not disciplined in managing their own time. And they do last minute study. So these are the examples of the consequences and what leads to these consequences. So share with me what's your thoughts on today's video. If you have any thoughts or questions, you can leave in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video.